In today's video, we're going to talk about the brand new POCO X1 and POCO M1 tablets that are launching at the same time as the POCO F8 Ultra and the F8 Pro. Both of these tablets are featuring large displays, high resolution displays, and high refresh rate displays. Also large batteries, and of course the ability of having immersive Dolby sound system here with the speakers that we have built in each one of them. One of them even supports an SD card, which is definitely a very nice and a plus. They also have pen input supported here with the brand new POCO pen, as well as the ability of having some really nice accessories when it comes down to cases, folio cases, or even keyboard cases to be able to make these even more functional. Both of them are going to be great for multitasking, gaming, content consumption, and of course having a long battery life. So without further ado, this is TK and these are the POCO X1 and the POCO M1 tablets for 2025 and into 2026. Let's check them out and see what makes them so special. Like and subscribe and make sure you hit that bell icon so that you're always notified to whenever we have new videos for you on the channel. Now, I do want to say thank you very much to POCO for allowing me to have all of the actual, not only both of the tablets, but also including the new POCO Focus Pen, as well as the ability of having a couple of accessories as far as cases. We have a folio, or basically a kickstand case for both the M1, as well as a keyboard case for the M1. Last but not least, obviously, we have also the same thing, a cover for the X1. And then lastly, of course, the floating keyboard case for the X1. Now on the right side, I have the POCO M1 and the POCO X1s on the left side. Just one thing to keep in mind is that the X1 is slightly smaller, but does support a higher resolution display at 3.2K with 144 Hz. Where on the M1, we do have a 12.1-inch display at 120 Hz, but this one supports a 2.5K display. So both of them are supporting high resolution, high refresh rate displays. Just again, 3.2 at 144 and it's 120 at 12.1. Both of them are going to be including some really nice POCO stickers included in the box, so definitely appreciated there. Very nice, and you can customize your tablet to your heart's content. And again, both of them are going to include this in the box. When it comes down to charging, both will include a charger in the box, although it's a 33-watt charger for the M1 and a 45-watt charger for the X1. These are the European style, and of course we have the USB-A to C cable to be able to charge our devices. And of course we have the POCO Focus Pen. Not only does it work great with the X1, you can definitely see here it magnetically connects to the X1 and it charges directly from the tablet. So you don't have to worry about connecting it anything. Just make sure that it's connected, and even when it's inside of its floating keyboard case, it still works because there's the opening area for it at the top. Some of the main things they wanted to feature or focus on specifically is obviously the 12.1-inch 120 Hz 2.5K display on the M1. Although the battery is a 12,000 milliampere battery, we're able to charge it with a 33-watt charger, and of course use a 27 wired reverse charging as well, so you can actually use it to charge up your smartphone since we have such a large battery in here. Literally about twice the size, just shy of twice the size, because technically the Ultra is a 6500, so obviously it's a little bit less. The 7S Gen 4 mobile platform processor is going to be here, so definitely a mid-range type of an experience, which means not as much demand on the actual processing, but it also provides us a much longer battery life with that massive battery that we have. Quad stereo speakers here with Dolby Atmos. Now the experience definitely does get a little bit more refined when we get into the X1. Again, 3.2K, 144 Hz, crystal clear display, beautiful, very nice. Both of them are flat displays. Now, I'm going to say this now before we get into the benchmarks later on. Yes, it does say the 7 Plus Gen 3 mobile platform. One thing to keep in mind, the Plus Gen 3 is more powerful than the S series on these chipsets. So typically Qualcomm will release 3 versions of a chip. There's the standard, the 7 Gen 3, then there's the 7S Gen 3, and then there's the 7 Plus Gen 3. The 7 Plus Gen 3 is an overclocked version of that processor, where the S series is typically considered to be a slightly more budget-friendly version of it. Of course, featuring HyperOS, Xiaomi HyperOS 3.0 right out of the box, a massive 8,850 milliampere, also being charged up with a 45 watt with the charger that I showed you guys just a second ago. Quad speakers by Dolby in here as well, and of course a beautiful flat display all the way up to 144 Hz. So this case is the floating keyboard case specifically made for the X1. And then one thing you probably have noticed there, that the X1 has POCO pin connectors at the top, and that will mirror in to the actual unit at the top here, because that's how we're going to get power for this keyboard. So you basically pick it up, reverse it, put it straight in, align the camera module directly to fit in the back here, and then it sits very nicely and very flush. You can use it very much like standard laptop like this. You can extend it, and the nice thing about it is it literally feels like a floating tablet at the bottom here. Now I do have face unlock. That's one of the reasons why I unlocked in here. I also use it to have it unlocked directly when I'm using it with my F8 Ultra. The nice thing about this is actually the experience that you're getting here. You're able to jump in, and one of the things I appreciate with HyperOS, or at least what Xiaomi's been able to do for us in the past, as well as POCO of course, is the ability of running the desktop UI experience in here. It changes the way the experience goes in, meaning from when we open up the gallery, it opens up straight into a pop-up window. You can actually go full screen or close it. And I also love the fact that if I'm opening, let's say, the Chrome browser, I'm actually actually able to use it in a floating mode like this. And now, again, as I said, you can slide it, put it on the side, experience, and you can open up multiple windows. Let's go ahead and open up the app in here, and I can actually just customize it and move it into the area that I want. The pen, of course, is always going to work really nicely for us. Very good. Again, no issues here at the top. You can put it, charge it, use it. You can always see the experience in there. And then if you want to just go back to the standard UI, you can actually just disconnect it and go back, and it'll bring everything into full screen window mode. So very nice and simple again. So this is the floating keyboard one. Looks and works absolutely fantastic. Very much a very beautiful mechanism in here. Very sturdy and very nice. And it does not slip. There's no issues there. The next case we're taking a look here is, again, the origami case, I think, for the best way to describe it, because it not only supports the ability of actually, again, holding our device, it also has a nice little cover over the pen, so the pen doesn't actually get extended or drops off. Magnetically clamping over it, much better configuration. And again, we have the ability of actually using this to position it in multiple ways. So first and foremost, you open it up and then expand it and then move it to the back. Now the back can configure into a few different ways. You can bring it into more of a triangle mode, and now it becomes like a standard kickstand. You can also use it in the same configuration to have it stand up, or also put it backwards to have a little bit more of a slant. The UI adjusts right away. And I love the fact that it's essentially basically just going to be as easy as just opening it up this way, putting the magnets, and everything kind of keeps itself flat. You can put it down on the table, use it, interact with it, and when you're ready to go around or just move away, open it up on the back, bring it down, bring it in, and now you have still that very nice protected area. Even though this is magnetically connected, it still has the ability of protecting it using this case. Now for the M1, they also have very similar accessories. The first one, obviously, we're going to take a look at, although it's not magnetically or no pogo pin connections in the back here. This is going to be more of a standard case that we've seen before. It just snaps in at the top here, so it aligns, and snaps at the bottom to hold it correctly. Sorry about this here. And the way it sits on the keyboard, it actually just sits into a magnetic connection here in the middle here. So once you put that in, it actually sits very sturdy, pretty much like this. See, the keyboard kind of sits the way it is. And the Bluetooth, or the keyboard, is connected via Bluetooth. And on the side, we have a USB-C port to charge the actual keyboard, as well as a power on and power off, so you don't waste the battery on there. Before we go too far, you'll notice right away that there is a headphone jack on this. The M1 does support not only a headphone jack, but also micro SD expansion. As you can still see here, we have access to that even with the case. There is a holder for a pen, so depending on the model, that will support that overall. There is no way of charging it through the actual unit itself. That's one thing to keep in mind. So it's probably going to be one of the USB-C port version of it. The power button, the speakers on the side, quad speakers on both side, right side and left side. And again, once you're ready with it, you can close it, bring it in, and it just basically closes very nice and very thin. Pretty much one configuration, again, only opens up in this way, and if you want to be able to use it fully as a standard tablet, just bring it all the way down to the bottom like this and turn off the keyboard, since there's no sensors for it to know, and you're able to use it in a flat experience. The last one, very much a similar experience to what we have on the X1, although this one pretty much just opens up straight. And this one also allows us to actually remove the actual pen holder. If you don't have the pen or you're not using that accessory, you don't have to have it in there. But otherwise, just take your case, put it down, and of course align the tablet, and it'll clamp on all four sections. And then this is pretty much the standard carrying mode. You want to be able to use it in an origami stand. You bring it in, you fold it into a triangle. We now have it standing position like this. Also flip it over, and you're also able to use it in this position. So it aligns it and it works beautifully the way you want it. And you can see the UI, absolutely fantastic. The experience is very, very nice. And I just saw some solo leveling here. Jinwoo is officially stronger than Goku, and that's bad news for solo leveling fans. Yes, so at this point, I'm not going to get into this conversation. We'll keep that for a different video. I do want to talk to you guys a little bit about the performance. What we talked about originally is the processors that we have in here. We have the 7S Gen 4, so the S series is on the M1, and on the X series we have the 7 Plus Gen 3. So the 7 Plus Gen 3 single core is 1887 with a multi-core of 5077, and you'll notice when we jump into the 7S Gen 4, it's 1241 for the single core and 3308 for the multi-core. Keeping in mind that the S is more of an affordable budget version of the actual processor, which is typically what Qualcomm does. So even though we're looking at a slightly smaller number here, we're calling it the Gen 3, it's still a much more better performer than what we get with the 7S Gen 4. One thing to mention as far as the software, at the time of recording this video, the X1 did receive the HyperOS 3.0. Both of them came to me with HyperOS 2.0. The M1 does not have that yet. I'm not sure if this is going to change by the time we get actually to the official launch or availability when people are able to start getting them in their hand. But at least at this version, I know for a fact that the X1 does have HyperOS 3.0, and it's absolutely fantastic. The desktop experience we were talking about before is part of the UI elements that we get in there. And of course, all the different UI and AI functionalities that we expect to get from there are all in here. This beautiful lock screen here, of course, that we're using, I used it and I customized it using the internal system. It absolutely looks great and it matches the deep color experience that we can get here from these displays. And the last thing I want to mention here is that the camera stacks that we have in here are slightly different as well. We have a 13 megapixel camera on the back here as opposed to an 8 on the main sensor in here in the back. The second one is just an LED flash. On the front, they're pretty much the same experience, an 8 megapixel camera on both the M1 and the X1. Now, the interconnectivity between these devices is absolutely great. If I'm going to, first and foremost, I'm going to go ahead and open up Chrome. It's open up in full screen mode. If I swipe down and turn on the desktop mode, you notice right there, it opens in pop-up window mode. And of course, as I mentioned to you guys, we can actually grab the window here in the corner, move it to the side. But one thing I definitely appreciate here, now the app drawer looks more like a regular app drawer, but you're also able to launch and connect to your devices. Now, I've already paired them. This is one of the reasons why, but I wanted to show you guys how quickly this just runs, and it works beautifully in here. You're able to swipe down, open up notifications, and bring in the different areas, and everything that you normally can do on your smartphone, you could do it here. So I can open it up here, close. We were looking at the actual benchmark in here. Let's go back into the gallery. I can scroll down and you can actually see the pictures and share content between the two devices, as well as the ability of just, again, interconnectivity. You don't have to have the device on sitting for you here. Now, of course, the display here does turn off, so it means I can still use it in, just as long as I don't lock it manually, I'm still able to use it. If I'm done with it, and let's say I don't want to use it, I can go ahead and just basically put it down to the side. It sits as a little window and I can go back to using my device. The pen still works absolutely great. You can actually customize, do much better, like a single point experience. And you can swipe experience directly from the bottom. All gestures are still supported, access to the Google Play Store. Again, customizing the experiences in here. And as you can see here, the same story that came on this device came on the other device. We could definitely read it there and enjoy it. And one thing to keep in mind is the connectivity to your smartphone is pretty much mirrored here, and you can use it and see it even if you're using it outside of the desktop experience. Now, when it goes down to the camera experience overall, when we go in video capability here, we're actually able to shoot 4K 30 frames per second with a 13 megapixel camera on the main sensor on the back. When we go back onto the front, it's a 1080p 30 experience here, but the M1 for the most part just mirrors the 1080p resolution across all the sensors. So both the front facing and the main sensor on the back, 1080p video is going to be the best that we can shoot there. I love the interconnectivity. I love the functionalities that we get in there. Okay, so we're now using the front-facing camera on the brand new POCO X1. This one is using the 8 megapixel camera. It should be very similar experience to what we get with the M1. Both are going to be featuring 1080p resolution front-facing video at the maximum of 30 frames per second. This should be a good example of, let's say, you're jumping on a video call or a conference call where you want to do a quick video like me. Again, how it's going to look like and sound like from the brand new X1 and M1 tablets from POCO. Okay, now we're switching it over to the main sensor on the back on the POCO X1. This is a 13 megapixel camera capable of shooting 4K 30 frames per second. So this is going to be the best experience that you can get from here. So if you want to take a quick video, obviously I'm using this to record a video using the main sensor on the back, but the overall performance I feel like always will end up performing better on the main sensor. So again, 13 on the back, 8 on the front, 8 on the back and 8 on the front on the M1, and 1080p pretty much on the M1. So for the M1 series, what you're getting from the front-facing camera should be mirrored on the main one on the back. And this one is up to 4K 30 on the X1. Now, of course, we're going to do a quick speaker test in here just to basically demo out the sound experience. Both the M1 and the X1 feature quad speakers, Dolby sound support, of course, on both of them. I'm going to play it at 100%. This is our favorite song, Jumbo by NCS Release.
Jack it up.
Absolutely no problem, no question. This is going to give you absolutely fantastic sound, immersive sound when it comes down to it. I would have wished that the X1 did include also a headphone jack, but again, the M1 does provide us a headphone jack and SD card support. Here as well, we have the quad speakers that they have, so you're not going to be disappointed on both. A beautiful large display, 3.2K, 144 Hertz. That means gaming are going to be fantastic. The experiences that you're going to be getting here are definitely only limited by your imagination. When we're talking about gaming experience and what you're able to expect there, again, you notice the whole time the phone is still sitting there and I'm actually still able to interact with it. So I can bring it back, put it in, or even close it. We have a nice little game launcher, again, similar to what we see. And of course, we're able to turn on the boost functionality to get the higher refresh rate, recording screen, timer, different experiences. And as far as the gaming experience, you're able to go into performance or balance mode, and you can actually customize that directly from the launcher. Very nice, turns on, and typically we'll add whatever the latest game that you have that you downloaded and installed. Let's go ahead and bring that back in, go back into it. And then from there, you're able to go in into graphics, and then customize. And again, we can go up to extreme and smooth as far as the highest resolution and refresh rate. And of course, customize, I like to keep it into a colorful experience. So once you have that, you hit apply, you close it. And of course, you do need to restart the game before you're able to start benefiting from here. So when it comes down to it, from a sense of productivity, I feel like both of these devices are going to do great. The M1 and the X1 both provide us a desktop-like platform or canvas. Now I'm hoping with the HyperOS 3.0 update, we'll also get the desktop mode on the M1. Now the M1 is technically running a slightly slower processor, but at the end of the day, both are going to be running a mid-range experience, which means what you're getting there essentially is not a very demanding processor, but a very long battery life. Now the X1 definitely has a slightly smaller battery, but it matches the size of the display. You're getting a smaller, higher resolution, higher level of experience with what we're getting here with the 3.2K display. The M1 provides you a bigger display, bigger battery, the ability of reverse wireless charging, again, some benefits that we don't get on the X1. Again, going in with the SD card and the headphone jack. So the experience is really going to be down to what you favor, what you value the most. If you want a wired headphone experience and as well as the SD card support, the M1 is absolutely the one to go for. From a gaming experience, I feel like they're both going to provide us very similar experiences. We're talking about a 7 series processor, even if it's a 7S to a 7 Plus. We're not talking about obviously the 8 Gen 5 and the 8 or the 8 Elite Gen 5 as what we're seeing there with the Ultra and the Pro from the F8 series. So great connectivity, interoperability between devices. I love that. I love how simple it is. As you saw that, it was a simple button. I clicked it, reconnected to it. I have it set up to also unlock my device using Bluetooth. So whenever they're connected, I don't have to put in my PIN. I have Face Unlock on this. They're both going to do great. The accessories are also very nice. Definitely pick up, I would say, the floating keyboard if you're picking up the X1. And of course, the Bluetooth keyboard if you're picking up the M1. I feel like adding those keyboards just makes it more functional. I've done a couple of meetings with the X1 where I was just taking notes on it, and it makes it so much more enjoyable because I'm in a floating window experience, like a desktop area. So I have my notes sitting on the left, I have my other window opening on the right, and I can still multitask and copy things from one thing to the other. And at the end of the day, still be able to access my phone's content without having to have my phone display on all the time. So very nice. And of course, sharing connectivity as well if you want to be able to share your internet connection. No mobile version of this, or at least mobilely connected. So basically, only thing that we have right now is a Wi-Fi version. Although the M1, the SD card holder, did look like it had a cutout at some point, but maybe it was blacked out for a mobile version. So I wouldn't say that they're definitely coming in. This is not something that POCO shared with me. I'm just saying they could potentially be a mobile version of the M1 coming in the near future. So with that being said, thank you very much for the support. Like and subscribe as usual. Let me know which one do you prefer the most. Do you prefer the larger display with the 7S Gen 4 on the M1? Or do you prefer the slightly more smaller and more nimble tablet that gives you a better experience with the higher resolution and higher refresh rate of the X1 from POCO? Of course, both are going to be great and you're not going to be disappointed. I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye-bye for now.